Asuka turned heel so hard, it turned Rhea Ripley the colour blue.
I can't believe how much she got misted. Because it, she spat in her face. But she looked like she was from Avatar.
Yeah, it was like a little normal thing. And then by the end, once Io's run down for the save, Rhea is writhing in the foreground of the camera. And it's like she found another bottle of dye.
I think, and I don't know this, so I might need some reports from the building, but it looked like a bit. Someone from the crew just got up and started shooting it with a super soaker that was full of blue paint.
Yeah, if this was at the Blackpool Combat Club or Death Riders, whatever they're called now, take note. This is what your white T-shirt should look like at the end of a match.
All blue.
Of all the blue. Because that's the colour of blood. Like what? It's blue there in my arm. How does it come out red? Anyway, I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luco in DAD. Welcome.
UltraChat in explaining why it turns red.
But why does it turn red? Nobody knows.
Oxygen, probably.
Nobody knows.
It's the EMT. What was that thing they were protecting against?
No, if you want the actual science, because it's in textbooks, it's blue on this side of the body and red on this side. Don't look. It's blue because then it gets oxygenated at the bottom and it comes back up red.
Okay. So, wait, what?
This is the Raw podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from. It could be on YouTube. It could be on Spotify. It could be on Apple Podcasts. And exciting news, everybody. We have had a listener write in, Jimmy Monday Schubert, with a lovely photo of an ultrasound. And this is what they say. My wife and I are expecting our first child on 2nd of December. We went to get an ultrasound and noticed he had a Penta mask. Can you see that? That legit looks like a Penta mask. I don't know if they've photoshopped that part, but if that's an actual shoot scan, that does look like the baby's wearing a Penta mask.
Does a little bit, yeah.
Or is it another El Grande Americano? 4 El Grande.
They've got a name now.
Seeing double here. When I zoomed in to the bottom right corner, I noticed a QR code, and when I scanned it, it brought me to your YouTube channel. And then you can see it, look, on the legit ultrasound scan, the hospital included a QR code.
And that was a really difficult deal to sign up as well, because they just kept saying things like, ultrasounds are serious. They're really for medical records. And we were like, well, what about our records of the podcast? And they were like, well, it's a compelling argument. But it was a really difficult deal to get signed.
Yeah. But we support the NHS. That's one of the nice things we do. Not monetarily, but we just, in vibes. I think we do the vibes.
I still, every Thursday, go outside my door at 6 p.m. Clap for them.
I'm not going to say who it is, but a very close friend of mine, you know him. I'll tell you who it is off air. In the pandemic, when everyone was so hard on support the NHS, he wouldn't clap. And I said, why? Like it's not really for them. It's just like a nice show of unity. Yeah. And he said, there are so many people who work at the NHS, not all of them can be that nice. Anyway, Asuka turned heel. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Your thoughts on the NHS, dear God. And sending your Omega chats or chat gables to WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out every single one. Over $5 before the end of the show. If you are watching on YouTube, yes, we are still crammed into one camera shot.
Fortunately so.
Although because Laurie stole all the cameras.
Someone did say that this feels more personal.
Yeah, but then people also say they missed a 2-shot. Again, I cannot get over how much the table is poking me in the gut right now.
Yeah, it's not a greatly designed table.
So the big storyline of this episode was that Triple H seemed to give a damn again. I think, and we've done enough revisiting old episodes of Raw, and Vince would get a bad rating and then do a shock panic booking bit of an episode. The Shield breakup. What's another example?
Vince went back on TV.
Vince is back on TV. If he got a really bad rating on TV, he'd do something crazy to react.
He would announce John Cena versus CM Punk even though John Cena's injured.
Paul Levesque doesn't really have that pressure on him because ratings are now just Who cares? It's that they get the money to them. It only matters once every 5 years when the deal's up for renewal. However, I noticed this pattern where if everyone is like, well, that was a bad PLE, I think it gets to him and he tries to put on the next episode of TV is way better than normal. I've
said on the show before, he is terminally online. He 100%, he is an online guy and is always reading people's feedback to the show. There was a point when he did like 4 DQ finishes in a row in the main event, and every podcast that week was like, I'm so sick of these DQ main events, and he hasn't done one since. But it was on that 1 week when every podcast decided, I'm now sick of this, that he stopped doing them. Because I really do think that he does listen to feedback. Not in the sense of like, I want to hear your feedback. He just wants to hear what people are saying about his show and then try and do the opposite of it and be like, man, you know, you just got to trust the process. You just got to trust, I know what I'm doing.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. But I don't think that this was a response to WrestlePalooza being a C show by ESPN's own metrics. I think this was just the payoff to his glacially slow telling of stories. I think Asuka was always going to turn heel on this episode, regardless of WrestlePalooza being a dud or not.
That was the main storyline throughout the episode. We got, first off, I'm trying to find the first backstage skit. No, not Clubhouse stuff. No, not Jey Uso being a bit moody. Not Bayley chatting to Lyra. Okay, Stephanie Vaquer gets a very nice title celebration, no angle, no nothing. It's just Adam Pearce going, she's the new world champion.
Likely because they couldn't do an angle because they haven't done the match yet of who's going to be on the SmackDown side of the women's championship ring match.
And that's because Tiffany Stratton reportedly is in concussion protocol, which is why that match has been delayed.
Until SmackDown.
So probably original plans did have Stratton presumably coming out and going, but the ring.
Yeah, so on there was a bit of merchandise at WrestlePalooza that did list the 3-way as part of the match lineup. So it was supposed to be at WrestlePalooza, but because of the concussion protocol, it's got kicked back to SmackDown.
Vaquer's father, Mr. Vaquer, was in the crowd. He escorted her into the building and the people arriving for work shots at the start of the show. She cut an endearing promo.
Very nice.
In both English and Spanish. She gets backstage. Of course Nikki Bella's there.
Of course she was. Waiting in the wings.
Nikki Bella trying to insert herself into any story of relevance. Remember, I had a whole bit of booking where Nikki was asking so many questions about, where's Stephanie? Is Stephanie okay? I was like, she must have beaten her up. But no.
I think she's just part of the furniture now. She's just on the roster at this point.
Has someone forgotten to get her an Uber home?
Which is remarkable because she's getting an Uber from location to location.
Yeah. It's just she goes to sleep in the production trucks. But Rhea Ripley's there as well. It's the baby faces. Then Asuka and Kairi walk up and Asuka starts being arrogant and obnoxious and shouty. Rhea Ripley takes exception to this and Rhea's like, right, let's finally settle this. Let's have a match tonight.
I was like, that's great. Asuka versus Rhea on Raw is the main. Yeah, absolutely. Sign me up.
Came out of nowhere, didn't it? I didn't quite believe it. It took them saying it's definitely happening tonight twice on commentary for me to actually go, so the main event isn't the Vision.
It isn't Jey versus LA Knight, which is what I thought it was going to be.
Is that this isn't just happening in the middle of the show and actually it is going to be a version of a Braun match. So then we get a few more backstage bits where Io goes up to Rhea.
Says, you shouldn't do this match with Asuka. And Rhea's like, I've got to do the match. And I think you should be wary of Asuka. And Io then took exception to that. She's like, well, no, Asuka's family. Mm-hmm. And Rhea's like, well, that's why it hurts me to say, because you don't want your family acting like she currently is. And she then sort of said something that got taken the wrong way. So then Io stormed off and was like, that's not quite what I meant. So that kind of created some tensions there to lead into the main event of Asuka versus Rhea Ripley.
There was also one I skipped over, which was Io asking Asuka to not face Rhea. So Io was really caught in the middle, and that's when Asuka stormed off, and Kairi did an over-the-top anime reaction.
No.
It's not for me. It's not for me, this stuff, but whatever. We finally moved past it into the next phase. Because the main event was Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. And I was like, Rhea Ripley? Wrestling? When was the last time this happened?
That was the last time I felt like Asuka wrestled a singles match on the show. When she came out and I heard her music, I was like, I feel like I haven't heard this in ages.
So I went back and looked, and of course, Rhea Ripley hasn't wrestled on the last 2 PLEs. So there's not even an argument that, you're keeping Rhea Ripley special for the big events. She's had 4 TV matches, this one included, in the last 3 months.
That is more than I thought.
But still, it's like, and I don't think this was the greatest crowd. Apparently the advanced sales weren't that stellar. I feel like Rhea Ripley was super hot, and she is still super hot. She was getting insane reactions in the crowd. But I don't think she feels as hot as she did coming off of WrestleMania, because she's just not been around.
Well, what's her storyline been since? Her storyline is that I can't beat you, Io Sky. So that's all she's done. But also that was what she was doing in the lead up to WrestleMania as well. So she kind of had the one storyline leading up for the first half of the year. For the first half of the year.
But she's not even been wrestling. She's just been in these backstage segments, being a bit tense with Asuka. I think they really misbooked Rhea Ripley over the last couple of months.
I think there are some people that you don't... It's not misbooking. And I disagree. I don't think she has been misbooked or mishandled. I think there was actually a lot of online backlash towards Rhea Ripley because she was pushed so much on TV. They've kind of sort of held back a little bit on that to kind of give people like Stephanie Becker and Asuka and Kairi Sane a bit more TV time. So
they've not been on TV either.
Well, they've been in backstage segments, so it doesn't feel like they're like it's become the Rhea Ripley show. I mean, I'm spitballing ideas here. I don't know if this really is the case. So it just feels like it's sort of like just pulled her back a little bit. But she's one of those talents that's so special that even if she's not on TV for 2 months or in matches for 2 months, she still gets that monster pop just appearing on screen. Because she does. Like, she always gets one of the loudest reactions just being in backstage segments.
And she was great here. And it was a particularly high-pitched cheering for Rhea. And I think usually you go, it's just kids. But I think this was just a huge, well, maybe...
It's a load of blokes going,
lady kids. Yeah, and a load of guys going, But this was a really good match, and it was different from the last 2 months of variations of Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed and LA Knight and Jey Uso and Sami Zayn and CM Punk and Seth Rollins, And the story was Asuka wanted Kairi to interfere, and Kairi was tortured over whether she should or not.
And then Kairi eventually did go to interfere, but Rhea moved out of the way and Asuka bummed her off the apron instead, and Rhea got the roll-up win.
Yeah, I think you could say Kairi's hesitation is what made the interference not work.
Yeah.
So there you go. Rhea beats Asuka. Asuka starts beating up Rhea afterwards. That's where she hits this insane miss shot, which turned Rhea head to toe blue.
I still do not know. I just have to imagine that Rhea was just doing this all over herself when the camera wasn't on her to make it look like she was head to toe, Smurf style blue.
Io Sky runs down to make the save, and Asuka's like, you're right, I'm sorry, let's hug. And then she turns on Io Sky as well. Yeah. And the bit I liked the most really was Asuka making Kairi beat them up.
Yeah.
And Kairi was like, okay then, and she's beating up Io, and then she's looking at her hands, what have I done?
Well, Kairi, she had a backstage segment with Io, the one you mentioned earlier, when Io said to Asuka, please don't do this match. When Asuka walked away, Kairi said to Io, like, look, she's the reason we're here. So Kairi has this sort of like just unwavering loyalty to Asuka. So even when Asuka is doing something that she is not agreeing with, she feels like she has to comply with her and have to go with her direction because she just implicitly trusts what Asuka is doing, which is going to make Kairi turning on Asuka and stopping taking her instructions. What I hope is it's going to have Otis levels of I want to see this happen, and then they've actually capitalized on it this time and actually tell a decent story out of it.
Yeah, the spot where Asuka goes, Kairi! And Kairi goes, no.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit hard.
Or just drops off the apron and walks away.
Yeah. So presumably this is building to a tag match.
Yeah.
Crown Jewel Perth.
Which we've been building to for 2 months now. So we knew this was the direction. There was actually someone in the live chat earlier who was like turned heel. She's been heel for months. But like she hasn't been heel for months. She has just been acting heel on TV. But this was the heel turn. It's just that we have been building to this heel turn to lead to the tag match that we all saw coming 2 months ago. And that's just like, that's a story taking a long time to tell, and I don't think that's the end of the world. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. It's just the reason why I think it's felt like it's taken so long is because the story has not progressed at a pacey manner.
Yeah.
It was just the same story for about 4 weeks in a row, and now we're sort of moving forward with it.
It's weird because I thought WWE would actually shift into the next gear post-Clash in Paris because, we've got WrestlePalooza to build to. But it was just more of the same.
I don't think they care. They've got the money.
Or this is just Triple H's wrestling philosophy. We've seen it before with NXT. The week-to-week TV is mosely glacial.
Doesn't actually matter.
But the takeovers are great. The problem is now, I guess, the WrestlePalooza was graded C.
Equally as glacial.
Yeah. Do you think, just lastly on this, do you think a Rhea tag match is the best thing for Perth? Or would you have preferred to have seen Rhea versus Stephanie Vaquer?
Well, I thought they were going to do a title match. My thinking was, prior to the Naomi cash-in, this is when we all thought Naomi was going to cash in on Jade, is that Io beats Rhea at SummerSlam, and you build to Io versus Rhea in Perth, where Rhea finally beats Io and wins the title, because that's her story. She can't beat Io, so she has a singles match in her home country, she beats her and wins the title. And then it was pointed out to me that I'm thick, and it's going to be a champion versus champion match, so you can't do that story.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, well, now I'm very uninterested in the Perth show then. But I guess now just putting her in a star-studded tag match with Asuka and Kairi Sane and Io Sky, it seems like it's a fairly good use of her. I honestly, it's better than her facing Nia Jax for the title the last time they were in Australia.
I love the idea that, but her hands are tied. It's got to be champion versus champion at Crown Jewel. But you made this thing. It was only, I thought we only did it last year for Saudi Arabia. Don't call it Crown Jewel.
Well, yeah, but got the branding, pal, and they want to.
No one's like, "Where's my big 6 pay-per-view Crown Jewel?"
I really didn't think they were going to do it again this year. I thought that was a one-and-done thing that was just a Saudi gimmick, which is why I thought they would do a title match in Perth. But no, we are getting the it's not even arguably. Incontrovertibly pointless champion versus champion match. It's bragging rights.
Bragging rights. Let's see what you all think on the chat, Gables, with the excellent subheading here from our moderators. Pirate of the Caribbean. Said in Magic writes, stuff actually happened on Raw. I didn't know that was allowed. It's an 83% from me. Jam that jam.
Guys, can we pump the brakes a little bit on this? Because I feel like I need to be the voice of reason in everyone's head right now. Because you came in and was like, what an episode of Raw! An awesome episode of Raw this week. And I was like, was it? It was like, yeah, stuff happened. That cannot be the basis of an awesome episode of Raw, that something happened. They did one angle on this show and everyone's like, show of the year. If you just do nothing for 8 weeks in a row, then do one thing, it is going to feel like a big deal. But I also think we need to take a step back and realize that everything else on this show was the same glacial pace that we've been moving at since WrestleMania.
I thought it was a 78%, so not far off. Quoth the Raven writes, I was there live for Raw, and after the feed ended, Io sat in the middle of the ring crying loudly. It was hands down the most heartbreaking thing I've witnessed in pro wrestling. It will live rent-free in my head for a while.
Sounds like a cool angle.
Yeah. A Ninja writes, Evolution 2 being one of the best of the year, match of any night usually being the women, one of the best female wrestlers, and it's not just me saying it, joining the main event storyline and making it interesting. The women's division is just better.
It is more interesting at this point.
I don't think WWE would ever book a backstage segment where a bunch of men stood in a line.
Oh, God, no, absolutely not. Not even the vision.
We did get it on this episode, though.
Well, that's the only way the women know how to stand.
Yeah. Well, it's for the photos. It's for the gram. Vala Mamadapudi, who's been a Memberg for 2 months, thank you very much, writes, Rhea looked like she lived in a blue house with a blue little window and with a blue Corvette.
Is
that Eiffel?
Yeah, Eiffel 65.
65.
There's a kid I knew at school who was convinced that the lyrics to that song were "I'm blue, if I was green, I would die."
Take that, green people. It was the first song I ever remember hating.
Really?
Yeah, I was about 11 years old, loved everything, and I was like, but not this.
I'm blue.
Yeah. You can directly trace my cynicism towards WWE back to that song as an 11-year-old. And then it was X-Men Last Stand that broke me for film. Badger Sprite writes, remember how Io won the title off Rhea by summoning the combined powers of her damage control powers? It was all of the different moves, wasn't it? And Rhea cried backstage after the loss about how friends aren't real. Now Io is sobbing after the show, having lost the friends who gave her strength.
Badger Sprite, do not give it that much credit. That Rhea storyline where she cried about friends was dropped the second she cut that promo. Yeah. The second they cut and they stopped recording on the camera, that storyline was dropped.
It was a nice idea.
That was a lovely idea.
And we could imagine that long-term characterization might play into this. But it's hardly the seatbelt. The seatbelt pin has better long-term storytelling than most everything in WWE and AEW.
Yeah. Still one of the most crushing lines of guest commentary I've ever heard when the newly heel Wheeler Yuta used the seatbelt pin. And I think it was to pin Chuck. And no, it was to pin Trent because Chuck was on commentary and just went, I taught him that move.
Oh, beautiful. And finally for now, Kuzu writes, one of the most heartbreaking heel turns I've seen in a long time. And it was so good. The women are carrying WWE so very much this year. I guess Asuka is going to beat Stephanie for the title. And it's a three-way chase between her, Rhea, and Io towards Mania.
I think it's just Rhea and Io at Mania. I can't see Asuka winning the title.
Yeah, I think Stephanie holds the belt for a while as well.
Yeah.
This is Levesque. Shall we plug anything before we get into the main play-by-play review?
Yeah, Patreon. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk. This coming weekend here on YouTube. It's the most wonderful time of the year, everyone. It's the time of the year that only actually ever really matters in terms of wrestling YouTube. No, it's not Royal Rumble. No, it's not WrestleMania. It's not even Money in the Bank. It's when Ollie and I get to review TNA from a specific period of time for the next few months.
Yeah. You know, like, imagine if the year was a YouTube video. You would go into that video and you would go September 23rd or whatever, September 27th. That's when the real video starts.
Yeah, you click the timestamp in the year below to jump forward to September 27th because we're going to be reviewing TNA Wrestling for the next few months. The first episode is up on YouTube this coming Saturday where we're reviewing TNA Bound for Glory 2012, which is the first match with aces and eights.
And the whole storyline as well. We're doing all the little chapters.
Yeah. We're going to be chronicling the aces and eights storyline as our next podcast series. So yeah, Bound for Glory is live this Saturday on YouTube, and on Patreon it will be episode 2, Final Resolution 2012.
So many great TNA style moments in there.
Yes, including, and I was actually just going back and rewatching some of this before as I was exporting the video. Jeff Hardy does this a solo Whisper in the Wind off the steps, and Bobby Roode ducks is in the main event of Final Resolution, and he's either supposed to just hit the guardrail or sail over the guardrail, but he hits it in between and he clips the guardrail and he falls over, and the commentators have two reactions. The first is the "oh" at the spot, and then a beat later they just go "oh." As the realization sinks in, I'm like, oh, that was a gnarly bump.
Yeah. And Luke and I go crazy for a boom coming into the shot.
Not a boob.
Not a boob.
Nope, a boom.
Although there's that weird Christy Hemme shot. They've got a special camera for one pay-per-view that tracks up the body of Christy Hemme.
Yeah, who is the ring announcer.
Yeah. And one time, it doesn't look like she knows it's happening.
She's not addressing. She's addressing the camera for one of them.
Yeah,
it's the SoCal Val shot, but now it's Christy Hemme's.
WrestleTalk.com. Sorry, Patreon.com/WrestleTalk.
Yeah.
Let's get on with this show from the start. We got a WrestlePalooza video package, which was mostly WrestlePalooza, but also look at all the wrestlers on ESPN panel shows.
That's the most important thing.
Rusev was seen threatening Dominic in the background when LA Knight arrived. That was fun. And we've got Wade Barrett back on commentary.
And it feels so good.
Oh, it's so much better, isn't it? Not that Corey Graves was bad.
No, Barrett's great.
I think Wade's my favourite colour commentator in the company now.
Easily so.
We started off with Cody Rhodes opening the show because it's the one time a year where superstars from each brand go head-to-head in direct competition. And he comes down and he talks about how he's suddenly got this ring. You know, this ring, guys? I wear it all the time.
Remember?
Yeah, the ring. No, not the belt. Not the giant crown jewel belt. The ring.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to take the belt.
No, so we now have this championship ring. It's very important, so important that I just won't wear it out to any shows in case it gets scuffed or anything.
Mm-hmm. And he said, well, I've got 9 other fingers that are a bit naked, so I'm going for another one.
So you now know the next 9 crown jewel main events.
I hope he does win them all. Just
Thanos.
Well, I add in my news King John from Robin Hood. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I do?
Yeah.
I feel like everybody who's seen that film as a kid knows that.
Yeah, I mean, I loved
Suck some rings.
I love Robin Hood.
Yeah,
I would say that and Sword in the Stone were my 2 Disney films of choice.
The Vision interrupt him, and Seth Rollins, who is Cody's opponent at Crown Jewel Perth, gets in the ring. Crowd are chanting CM Punk, and Seth says it's not about him. He doesn't have a championship. Very fun. And then Seth, I got into this promo. At first, I was like, oh God, bragging rights. Who cares? I don't care about the ring. I want actual storylines. But actually, the actual storylines have been more repetitive. So this idea of Seth going against Cody, and crucially, Seth seeming insecure about his position going against Rhodes, I quite liked.
I think that this would have been more impactful if this was week 2 of the story. Because my issues are sort of twofold with it, really. And actually, they're both fairly minor issues. So it's actually not like a deal breaker, because I actually thought this was very good. I think it would have been better if it meant a damn and they were fighting for something that really did matter. But 2, there's just complete 180 of the Seth character from where we were on Saturday. Because on Saturday, he is Vision Seth, doing all this stuff. Then he comes out here and he's a completely different person. If this was in a film or a TV show, you'd be like, well, where's the character developments? We've just gone, this is a brand new character that has walked out here. If he'd have been Vision Seth, and it was Cody that kind of like brought the insecurities out of him to highlight, this is just a mask. As opposed to Seth coming out and the mask is already off. I just felt like it was a tonal shift from literally 48 hours previous.
That's a fair point. I can't disagree with that. Because he was campy, intergender, house show, tag match Seth on Saturday. And here he is essentially asking Cody, what do you think of me?
Yeah, it's not even like addressing the loss to Punk and AJ that's making him question these things. But if you'd have had Rollins come out being his arrogant self, and then Cody reminding him, hey, I've beaten you 3 times. I won this last time. What was the thing he said as well? It was, you faced me, that it would be one-on-one, so you wouldn't even have your group with you. And I've beaten you 3 times, the last 3 times that we faced each other. Then Seth comes out the following week to be like, I need to know what you think about me. So he can actually go through, I don't know, character development, as opposed to just, no, the character development has already happened, and now we're starting again.
Seth says, I know what CM Punk thinks about me. I know what the fans think about me. What do you think about me, Cody? And Cody's like, well, you were my shield at WrestleMania 40. You were the guy I fought first when I came into this company. I guess the real question is, what do you think about you, Seth? And that's when Seth started to be like, you say you're the quarterback, but you gave me this watch for helping you at Mania 40. Everyone gets a watch in WWE.
Well, I was going to say, that means nothing at this point. It's like winning the Crown Jewel Championship ring.
It should be over the watch.
Triple H does love a sentimental gift being a central part of a storyline.
Yeah, I mean, actually, how on earth have they not gimmicked Dusty's watch to be on the line for something? Or a heel takes the watch. Maybe that happens. Maybe that's why they brought up a watch. And Bronson Reed can just have loads of watches and trainers over his neck. And Seth says that if you say I am the future and I'm great, but you also say you're the quarterback. So either you're lying or you don't think I'm as good as you say I am. And that's where I thought that was like, I thought that was such an interesting insight into Seth's insecurity. And that was what made the tribal chief character so fun.
Yeah.
When Roman was actually saying, acknowledge me from a place of, we all cool here? Am I the top dog?
Yeah.
Rather than from an overconfident one. And Seth said, I'll prove that I'm the alpha. And that's when Cody said, I've beaten you 3 times already, mate. Buy the pay-per-view.
And again, like, all the substance that's in here is really, really great. It just needed that one extra beat to set up what is great about this. Because if you were doing this in film school and you handed this script in to a professor, they would say you're missing a few pages here because you've gone from point A to point C and there's no point B. So there's literally no character progression here. And so I think that's where it's slightly missing, is just missing that one bit. But I think really ultimately this is good. It's just missing that little extra element to it.
So the film school teacher would say this is not cinema.
Not currently.
Could that be a thing we start?
It's Amdram.
Yeah, well, instead of pure cinema, if something is a little bit off, just put not cinema.
I can't say it's Amdram either. What Lyra Valkyria is doing in that Bayley feud, that's some Amdram performance right there.
I love her. I love Lyra. Some people just are not gifted with natural facial reactions in a staged scenario.
No.
Nor natural voice. She should just talk in bird. Jey and Jimmy are backstage. Jimmy's angry because he wanted them to have an Usos bronze rematch, but Jey has already got himself a solo match with LA Knight, and Jay's a bit of a dick about it.
Well, yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah, he's like, do you know what? I think we would have won at the weekend had LA Knight not been the referee. I think that we just wouldn't. I think we would have won if you hadn't have tagged with LA Knight the week before the pay-per-view. I think you're both knobs, and I've got to go fix this as per usual.
This was definitely a very good sequential follow-on from the pay-per-view events. The New Day and Grayson Waller then took on Penta and the War Raiders, the feud that won't end, but hot damn, this was a fun match.
So Penta has beaten the New Day about 20 times this year, so I'm going to assume with this one that the New Day get the win because the rule, it's a little bit against Penta because New Day are a full act, and these are guys that have just got together. No. Penta just won. Quite easily, no less. It was literally no struggle for Penta and the War Raiders. They just beat the New Day very, very easily.
Non-stop action, though. It was a really, just in terms of action and table spots and bits like that, it was really fun. Penta wins with a Mexican Destroyer off the top rope. But yeah, where the hell are the tag belts?
On the Judgment Day. They're in the den. There's drama there.
Liberate the tag belts. This is getting ridiculous.
Have they actually defended them since they won them?
I think they've done it once, I read. I couldn't tell you when it was.
Beat the War Raiders for the titles, right?
Probably.
Because they beat the New Day at Mania. Did they beat the New Day? No, New Day beat them at Mania. And then the Judgment Day won it off New Day.
The Usos and the Vision, they're right there. They should be getting the belts. After that, we're in the clubhouse, and Dominic Mysterio asks Finn Balor for help because Rusev's hounding him, and Finn's like, why don't you ask El Grande Americano? Well, he's in Mexico. So Finn gets JD to help him, but he's actually tricked JD into having a match against Rusev later.
Oddly, though, he did say, because he asked Finn for help, and Finn said no, and then he goes to JD and asks JD for help, and then JD's like, oh, fine. Well, Roxanne says, we've got to do this for the good of the Judgment Day. And Dom's brilliant, like, no, it's for the Judgment Day. It's for the good of the Judgment Day. That's why I'm asking you for help. And JD's like, yeah, fine, I can do it. And Dom was like, oh, great, because it's already official. Like, I've already spoken to Adam Pearce, and it's got a match with you and Rusev. And
Finn and JD seem to be annoyed in the background afterwards. Bayley goes to chat to Lyra. Bayley is now Hugger Bayley. Very good performer, even though I think this character's a bit too goofy for me. Lyra, not a good actor.
She, bless her heart, she's not an actor. Bayley's second week in a row wearing AJ Lee merchandise. She was wearing AJ's t-shirt last week, and she's wearing the AJ's husband's jacket on this week's show.
Maybe it'll play into something. Maybe that will be an IC title feud after AJ Lee and Becky. Then we got that Stephanie Vaquer title celebration that we've already covered, and the Asuka Rhea stuff backstage. Then we got Bayley versus Roxanne. Mm-hmm. So Lyra beat Roxanne last week. So Bayley beats Roxanne here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know who can act? Roxanne Perez. You know who is great in the ring? Roxanne Perez.
Yeah.
She's the total package.
I know. Sometimes if you're a really good hand, you can just get beaten a lot. Remember that she had that storyline earlier in the year where she was the Cinderella stories, like always came close, always was the runner-up in things?
Yes, I do remember. That's all I think about. Because I thought we were clearly setting up for the year of Roxanne's rise. Kurt Angle 2000.
This is part of the Roxanne rise. She's now in a tag team. She's not the tall one, so she has to be the one that loses.
So what happens is Roxanne's working over Bayley's leg. There's a pop rocks on the outside. Bayley just beats the count, but then Raquel beats up Bayley behind the referee's back. Lyra stops her, and then Roxanne attacks Lyra. And it's like, as soon as Roxanne attacks Lyra, bear with me for the reference here, it's like Joker in Suicide Squad. And he has given his beloved Harley Cameron to a crime associate.
Harley Cameron?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinneran.
To a crime associate. And then he gets a flash of anger and he flips.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe like, they didn't do it here, but maybe just have the whole screen distort in a purple neon blaze. Just in case you didn't realise Joker had switched. I watched Suicide Squad yesterday.
We're doing a podcast review of it tomorrow for Cutscene, and Ollie messaged me and he said that he's watched an hour of the movie and it took you about 2 hours to watch that 1 hour.
Just had to make so many notes about how bad it was. There's so much information.
Yeah, there's a lot of information to get through, and you may try and do because I'm going to do the production history of it in the podcast tomorrow, and I'm very excited to go over that ground with you again.
It hasn't made me ill yet, like all the other DCEU movies we've done.
The exception of the Snyder Cut, which you absolutely loved.
Well, that made me stronger, that did. Snyder, bro. But Anna was out, and we've recently said, month of September, we'll only drink wine at weekends. I had half a bottle. I finished it at 6:30.
It forced you into drink.
I finished it at 6:30 and I was like, I feel like I've not left this house, this specific room for a day. So I literally drank and read about Greek myths. Anyway, Bayley flips in this moment, if you can remember what we were talking about before I went off on that tangent. And Bayley beats Roxanne, but then when Lyra runs in to celebrate with her, Bayley pushes her to the ground.
Yeah, she snaps back into being, role model Bayley. I mean, in fairness to WWE and Triple H and his booking of Roxanne losing, this is Bayley's return match, so she should win.
Oh, yeah. What do you think of the whole character, though? You enjoying this two-face deal?
My note was this would work better against a better actor. And I think that's the problem here, is because Lyra is, and I'm a big Lyra fan. Love Lyra. I think she is fantastic, and I bet you she is a lovely, lovely person. Bless her heart, she's not an actor. And I think that is what is making all of this feel goofier than it should do, is because Lyra's acting is so... Linda McMahon would say, have you thought about getting some acting lessons?
So I've just seen a poll gone up. It's not, is Lyra's acting any good, is it?
No, it's just asking, what did you think of Raw?
You know what? Next week, I'm going to watch these segments with a new lens, because I think we can all accept that now. So maybe it can get quite fun.
Okay.
You know, when you just decide, oh, this is pretty naff, I'm just going to get on board with it. Mm-hmm. And it becomes silly.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's see.
Cody sees Jimmy Uso backstage and he says, like, Jey's too much in his own head right now. He won't listen to me. Could you have a chat with him, Cody? Which is quite nice. And then Cody goes to chat to Jey backstage for 45 seconds and leaves. Oh, what a lovely guy Cody is. Best mate, yeah?
He was like, hey, you know, this business got ups and downs. Anyway, see you later.
Business got ups and downs, wins and losses, but you've got family and friends who believe in you. Good chat.
Good chat. Problem solved.
And
Mental health cured.
And Jay's there like, I think Jey was giving him evils when he left. He did go, thanks, man, that means a lot. And then Cody leaves. Do you think Jey was like,
you dick? Have you seen the trailer for Alan Partridge's new show?
Yes.
It's called How Are You?
Yeah.
How Are You?
Brilliant.
With Alan, brackets Partridge.
JD McDonagh then took on Rusev. I really enjoyed this match.
The crowd didn't.
They did JD.
Yeah,
They got into JD's offense. Look, for whatever reason, and I don't know why, Rusev is just not connecting with specifically North American wrestling crowds since his return.
No.
I think his work's been all right. Nothing to write home about, but nothing to not have the crowd get into him. But it's a thing that's happened. And JD McDonagh's in the ring with him, who just becomes this de facto babyface because he has this underdog story. He's making the comeback. His offense looks amazing. He's flying around the ring. This was a push JD.
Well, don't push him into any announce tables. But yeah, I mean, JD was great in this. I thought Rusev was great. It's just, I don't know what it is. The crowd are just not vibing with him. And in the end, he did tap out to the accolade. And Dom was going to interfere, but he froze in fear. And he couldn't actually get in the ring to either distract the referee or break it up and cause the DQ. He literally just stopped in place. And Rusev then wouldn't let go of the accolade. And Finn Balor was the one to run in and hit the 1916 to get Rusev.
The final cut.
The final cut.
I've written final cut in my notes.
I mean, true. Game recognized game, real recognized real. And then he's having a go at Dom, being like, I thought you got him into this mess. Now look at the mess you're in. And next week it's Dom versus Rusev for the IC title.
Yeah.
Have they taped Raw for next week?
Oh, I didn't think so.
Because they're taping SmackDown, I think, this week. Like doing a double taping of SmackDown because it's Thanksgiving in November. Scratch that. I'm thinking of a different. I thought Thanksgiving was coming up, but we haven't had Halloween yet.
I think they're experimenting with a different start time. I don't know if it's taped. I've not heard that. But yeah, well, they're the tag team champions. Maybe defend the tag belts as well.
Against who?
Against the Usos, against the Vision, against the New Day, against War Raiders.
But they're having their breakup next week. The Usos and Vision's ending next week. They've got their Tornado Tag hardcore match. Like, it's not the Usos not going on an extended run, so I didn't put them in tag title feuds. Raw's tag team division is really lacking because you just named. I was like, I can't be asked to see the New Day again because I'm done with that. And I can't be asked to see the War Raiders again. I'm done with that. Like,
it should be on Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed.
It should be.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine if the WrestlePalooza match was for the tag team titles. Then we get some Asuka stuff backstage. Knight cuts a promo on Jey backstage, and then we get the Jey Uso versus LA Knight match, which was pretty good as well. I thought all the wrestling on this show was really fun.
Yeah.
Really back and forth, really intense. Knight and Jey, I think, have pretty good chemistry. I was surprised Jey wrestled because he was apparently in concussion protocol off of that horrible chair bounce off Bron Breakker's back.
Bron Breakker is going to get to Chuck Norris in the early days of the internet territory if he's not too careful. Because Jey hit Bron with a chair and Jey got hurt.
Yeah.
that is a Chuck Norris gag from the early days of the internet.
Yeah. But they go back and forth.
Underneath his beard is another Bron Breakker.
It's pretty good. But then the Brons do come in. Knight fights them off, but that distraction lets Jey hit the splash for the win. Now, Jey, maybe you could make an argument that Jey didn't see the interference, but he took the win.
I think even if he had seen it, he wouldn't care. His whole deal now is not, he just wanted to beat LA Knight and prove a point. I would have won it had it not been for you. And then he's walking away. He knew the Vision were going to be attacking him. He was like, not my monkey, not my circus. And off he went. And Jimmy's there being like, should we not go and help? Like, not my problem. And off he walked.
Yeah.
Honestly, the last few weeks, it's the most I've been into Jey in a long, long time.
Jimmy ran down with the chair for the save, and Paul Heyman made the Vision walk off, and they all did the acknowledge me point to Jimmy.
Which made the crowd chant for OTC. Don't make the crowd... He's not coming because he's doing a street fight.
But I thought it was cool. I thought that was good mind games. I like this. I'm curious to see what happens next week with the Usos versus the Vision. Tornado tag. Pricey on my G. Becky and Seth are in the locker room, and Becky is just doing this brilliant rant about everything, and Seth's just there getting more and more angry, but silently. And then Becky's like, I'm going to go do something, and she walks off. Never followed up on.
No, I thought there was an angle still to come on this. I didn't think that Seth was getting more and more angry. I didn't think Seth was listening.
Oh, okay.
That was the impression I got, was that Seth wasn't even... Not acknowledging his wife was in the room, but he's in his own head. Again, that's what I mean. If you'd have had a different Seth... If you'd had classic Seth at the start of this, then Cody had said to him, and that's what made Seth question his whole personality. Then you have this segment. That ties into that. As opposed to doing, you did this bit first.
That's a more natural transition from goofy Becky and Seth to goofy Becky, introverted Seth.
Yeah.
And then, that's a good way of doing it. I was recording the news this morning, and I had in my script, Becky was being Lady Macbeth. And as I said it out loud, I went, Lady Macbeth.
It's good, man.
You could even call it Lady Beck. Lady.
I mean, you do you want to try again?
Hat on a hat. Lady Lynchy Beck Seth. Famous Shakespeare character, Lynchy Beck Seth. Morio stuff, recap of Stephanie McMahon's Hall of Fame announcement, where we do need to eat some humble pie, reportedly.
Apparently, this was legit. I am beyond surprised. Even knowing that it was planned still it still comes off phony.
Yeah. We got a video package for Los Americanos.
It makes it feel more phony. Sorry.
We get a video package for Los Americanos. Nowhere near as funny as the original El Grande Americano video package
6 months ago.
Yeah. And the whole thing is Los Americanos. They've always been a thing going back in the legends of Mexican wrestling. There's 3 of them.
Fuck off.
So AJ Styles and Dragon Lee won a 2-person tag match. There's 3 of them, right?
I've also written here as well. Doesn't Dragon Lee have his own faction? Why is he tagging with AJ Styles?
I guess they both had problems with the interference recently.
Did the rest of the LWA not have a problem with the Americanos?
Yeah, apparently not. This is really lazy, bottom of the card stuff.
This is, I would say, a waste of AJ Styles.
Yeah. And then we got the main event, which was very good with Asuka and Rhea Ripley. Overall,
best Raw of the year.
I thought it was a fun episode that did further some things that have been on the boil for too long. Mm-hmm. I think I'm justified after the last 2 months to having a nice time.
I had the exact same amount of fun that I've had with Raw since WrestleMania. I think this show has been 3 out of 5 since WrestleMania. And even actually in the lead up to WrestleMania, I thought it was a 3 out of 5 show. Not a bad show. It's a good show. And everything here is still moving at a very slow pace. But we did get one angle. And that means it probably is greater than the previous week's episode.
Well, you can vote. The poll is live now in the live chat. Before we get on with our remaining chat gables, let's say a very big thank you to our wonderful pledge hammers on Patreon over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk, manipulating Manu Umaria.
Isn't it the 23rd? It's the ones on the bottom.
Ooh, sorry. You got an extra shout out, Manny.
Gotta pay for that.
Hear Me Roar, Sirai to Lion.
The Pharaoh, Stephen Massapharaoh.
The Incredible Tarzo.
Keep rolling. Huh, Rick Patch.
Commentator of the Century, Vince Phillips.
Willie, Big E Singleton.
The Iron Zeke.
Bebop and Rob Steedley.
And of course, the wonderful mods, Andy.
Ian.
James.
John KV.
Owen.
And because she'll never put her name on this list, Mod Mother Jenna. Give a big shout out to the Blue Wrench Order in the live chat. And in your comments if you're watching this on demand, because our moderators keep you all in check. Check it out. Yeah, sorry. You please go on.
Well, last call for chat cables. Team Ghost Rider Inc. writes, I do think that WWE need to make the tag team champions the showcase to give us reasons to care about the belts. However, WWE doesn't want to do that with the main roster. NXT, on the other hand, does a better use of their belts more.
Yeah, Even the Speed Championships had a little mini tournament.
Booster Bold. As I was typing, it dawned on me this won't matter to you, but I've enjoyed Raw starting early. It's been ending at halftime for NFL. I can't help but think Becky needs an apprentice or muscle. Personally, I'd say Lash Legend.
It's an interesting partnership. I don't think Becky... I mean, like, having an admirer, almost like the Zoe Stark of the Thank You Trish stuff.
I think she's got her gang now.
Has she? Like,
they're in the vision.
With the Bronze aren't interfering in her matches. The Bronze aren't accompanying her. Paul Heyman's not accompanying her to the ring. She is not in the vision. She's just with Seth.
When we get that next Becky AJ Lee match and Bron Breakker spears AJ Lee. Dan writes, feelings after Raw. LA Knight losing again. Raw women's division is stacked. There's so much interference that when they showed the match graphics for next week, I was half expecting the person interfering in each match to appear alongside it.
Yeah, it is another loss for LA Knight. Still has not had a singles win since he beat Seth Rollins at Saturday night's main event.
Rambo. Hey guys, how are you enjoying the more sensible for European time shows recently? I told my wife after Forbidden Door that they're all back to US times, then All Out got moved. Crown Jewel will be early afternoon too. Guess I'll move the TV to the doghouse.
Yeah, I mean, Raw doesn't affect me in any because I don't watch it live. So I watch it the following day anyway. So the new start time, if anything, actually, I was up earlier to watch the show because it's my kid's birthday today. So I had to watch Raw before she was up so we could do presents and stuff. So I actually watched Raw at 5 a.m. this morning. So yeah, that doesn't affect me in any way. But like, and actually, no, the AEW pay-per-views don't either because I watched those the following day as well.
I think it more talking about the PLEs there, not and pay-per-views. Kevin writes, Bound for Glory 2012 is unironically my favourite TNA pay-per-view of all time. Don't ask why. but that's the only thing we've just watched it.
But your favourite TNA pay-per-view of all time?
They're a big James Storm fan. You get that
but
blow
even
off,
if you were,
you'd want him to be in the main event. So I'm hyped to see the Observer stories at the time. I feel like the first episode is going to be packed because there's 4 months of TV to explain before, which is honestly peak TV.
We do go through almost week by week what the Aces and Eights have been up to, watching a lot of clips from it as well, including Hulk Hogan barking like a dog because he returned as Hollywood Hogan for a week and then he hung out with Shaquille O'Neal and then Shaquille O'Neal threatened the Aces and Eights and it never followed up on anything.
And finally for now, Roach Senpai writes, I agree with you, Ollie. The tag belts haven't been relevant in a long-ass while. My massive pet peeve is champions not defending their titles at pay-per-views. They're either not booked or in multi-man tag matches. Same applies for Julia and Wyatt Six's titles.
Wyatt Six literally defended the last pay-per-view. Not WrestlePalooza, but the Clash in Paris. Because
so a month ago.
Well, yeah.
They literally just defended
them at a pay-per-view.
3.5 weeks ago.
Roach Senpai is like, they never do it. They literally just did it like, they had a gimmick. They had a sponsorship. So they filled the sponsorship match for Borderlands. That's how you get it. Honestly, we've had, 3 UltraChats here about the tag titles? If Sean Ross Sapp has ragged about the tag titles on Fightful, I guarantee there's a tag title match in 2 weeks' time.
Well, that's all we've got time for here. Let's get a look at the poll results.
We have got 52% thumbs up, mid 41. That is a shift because last week I think it was thumbs down.
Yeah. Well, and also just before we get out of here, because I've got this on my calendar every year for the last however many years. Is it this week? Oh no, is it later? I'm trying to see when Rusev Day is. I think the legit Rusev Day is actually this Friday.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Let me go.
When is the first Rusev Day? We've both done it. 26th of September 2017.
Wow. Would you look at that? Oh, actually, according to this one, it's the 25th.
Oh. Well. We'll do a special. That means you should subscribe to the WrestleTalk channel here because we'll have the WrestleTalk podcast this Friday and we'll have a WrestleTalk news on Thursday. And to be honest, every day's Rusev Day. Well, but not during his run, not in his return run where no one cheers for him. But for now, I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Luke Owen, DAD. Click the video somewhere to go watch the WrestleTalk news from earlier today.
Sign up for the newsletter.
And sign up for the newsletter. I've been Ollie Davis. Done that bit already. Jam that jam.
Jam that jam. Bye, everyone.